Hello there, everyone. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking movie reaction review. Yeah. Okay, today's movie is one I've been putting off doing. There's this kind of Kamen Rider trilogy, you know? Uh, there is Kamen Rider Zo, Kamen Rider J, and also the one that this one actually came out first, I believe. Kamen Rider Shin. And it's a movie that not a lot of people like. And I am one of those people. They actually changed the name of it recently. They changed it from Kamen Rider Shin to Shin Kamen Rider Prologue. So that's the title I'm going to use at the beginning. Not you know what I mean. That's the title I'm going to use on this video. Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, 1992. Uh, Tokusatsu movie reaction review, something like that. It's an hour and a half long. It's like a horror biopunk sci-fi film, and I like biopunk. Like, actually, I think biopunk's really cool. But this did not work out. It's directed by Makoto Tsuji. I hope I pronounced that right. And it kind of goes along with this big Kamen Rider revitalization project with Kamen Rider J, which I mentioned. It came out in 1994, and also Kamen Rider Zo, which came out the year before that, 1993. So each one of these came out in a year. And Zo and J are just like short films. Just little short, kind of 40-minute love letters to Kamen Rider. Big showcase of special effects, like Zo has stop motion and suitmation and all this crazy stuff in it. And God, I just love Zo and J so much. I adore them. I actually reviewed them forever ago alongside Kamen Rider World, which is the one where Zo and J team up. And I just kind of didn't review this one. I was like, no, please don't make me do this. But my partner is also really into Kamen Rider. And I was like, oh, you know what we should watch? Zo and J. Because they are both free on the Tokusatsu World official YouTube channel. They took down most of their videos off that channel. But Kamen Rider Zo, Kamen Rider J, and Kamen Rider Shin are all up on there. I think Shin is actually under Masked Rider Shin. Kamen does translate to Masked in English, but I prefer to call them Kamen Riders still. It sounds cool. It sounds unique, you know? It's very nice. But. Anyway, so it's almost more like a werewolf movie, but not really. The beginning of this film drags so goddamn much. And this is like a full feature-length hour and a half. So this is more than double Zo and J combined. And the beginning drags and it has all this wasted time. And then after he transforms into Kamen Rider, things just start to kind of get rushed and rushed. And then in the ending, you don't even really see how he gets out of all the trouble he's in. He just kind of appears in the sewers with a fetus. And that is how it ends, by the way. He's in the sewers with an unborn fetus inside a dead woman. That's how does he get to that point? You'll have to watch it to find out. And for now, it's still up for free on Toei Tokusatsu World Official. But at the time of recording this, there is a very expensive Blu-ray release coming out that will have Zo, J, and Shin all on it. And it will also have Kamen Rider World on it. But at the time of recording this, it's really only worth it for Kamen Rider World. Because the other three are free online legally, subtitled. So, oops. Also, I just want to mention I watched Godzilla 1984 on the Criterion channel recently, and there was a subtitling mistake in it where they left out a word. My friends and I thought it was really funny. Anyway, it also has this infamous swimming scene Which, to be honest, I'm actually going to defend Shin here. I don't think that scene should be as infamous as it is. I understand why it's weird to people, because it's supposed to be like a metaphorical sex scene, but they are also naked in it. Like, you see full side boob with nip and everything, and you see everybody's butts. But if you're gonna show them naked to us anyway, why not just make the metaphorical sex scene a literal one? Especially since later plot points of the film kind of hinge on the fact that they did have sex. Like, normally, sex scenes are, like, stupid. There are very few films where I've seen where I felt the sex scene actually added something or served a purpose. And even oftentimes when it did, they weren't tasteful still. So I understand why they didn't want to have a full-out sex scene. They might have also been like, this was originally a kids franchise, and even though this movie is not for kids, it's not at all. I understand why they might not want to show a sex scene still. But a metaphorical sex scene where they're still naked, and then a large part of the plot later hinges on their baby, their hybrid baby creature, who is like this all-powerful demigod thing that just stays alive in a dead woman. It's so weird. And I'm down for weird movies. Like, I've seen some weird Japanese movies. Tetsuo the Iron Man? Awesome film. I should review that, actually. I should review that Toku film. And that's a freaky movie from the 80s. That's really weird. And I loved it. But this wasn't good weird. This was like mismanaged weird. Like, Zoe and Jay are good weird. And I feel like if they would have taken Shin and maybe also made it a 40-minute thing, it could have been really cool. But Shin himself as a Kamen Rider, there's nothing special about him. He has a really well done transformation, but it's nothing like a Kamen Rider transformation. It's like a werewolf transformation. It's a cool practical transformation, it's just not Kamen Rider. He's not... Remember, Kamen Rider translates to masked rider. Not only does he not have a mask, it's just his actual head. And yes, I know there are biological riders where the head is also biological, but it's still like a biological helmet that forms over their head. Like, look at Kamen Rider Amazons. Or even Kamen Rider Black Sun. Because he has his Kaijin form, which is his real head, and then he has his rider form, which transforms his Kaijin self, and so he's still kind of masked. You know? So he's not masked, but he also doesn't ride anything. He jumps around. He doesn't have a motorcycle, or a car, or a fucking dragon, or anything. He doesn't have anything to ride. He's not masked, and he doesn't ride anything. He's not a Kamen Rider. He's got a cool design as an objective monster character, but as a Kamen Rider, his design is really shitty. I don't understand why they did this. Why did they do this? Also, the rider name, like a lot of the time they have a rider name. So Kamen Rider, shocker, Kamen Rider, the J, as I mentioned 1,000 times, they take on a new name when they transform. But Shin is just the dude's name. So his name is Shin, and then when he transforms, he's just Shin. That would be like me transforming and then going by Kamen Rider Paul. Can you imagine how stupid that would be? Oh, look out everyone, it's Kamen Rider Kevin. Oh, careful. Here comes Kamen Rider Jessica. What? It just seemed like a fully incompetent film. Horrible pacing. Nothing like Kamen Rider. The fights weren't even very exciting. There's only really like 2 real fights in it, to be honest. Both against the same kind of machine, which is a cool looking machine. Like, honestly, I'd get a figure of it. but they're just... I guess the first fight after his first transformation is okay, and then the second one just feels like a worse version of that fight. I don't know, man. It was just a non-interesting film. And that's why I had my partner watch it after Zoe and Jay. Like, we finished this movie. We actually watched it while we were at a Power Ranger convention, Ranger Stop and Pop Atlanta 2024. We were watching Toku the whole time we were there, obviously. And he was like, that was a huge waste of time, not just for us, but for the people who made it. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's that's why I had you watch it last. That's why I delayed reviewing it for so long, because I didn't want to rewatch it to make this review. I just didn't. It's such a waste of time. I only watched it because he suffered through it with me. But I will say, they fixed the subtitles on it. First time I watched it, I didn't finish the movie. I didn't get to the pregnancy reveal first time I watched it. So I couldn't have reviewed it because I hadn't finished it, you know? I didn't make it to the pregnancy reveal because the subtitles were so bad. They were so bad. But they did fix the subtitles on their channel, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I think they changed the name of this because people were getting it confused with Shin Kamen Rider, which I understand. I understand that Kamen Rider Shin was getting confused with Shin Kamen Rider. But changing the name to Shin Kamen Rider Prologue? At first it was just unintentionally misleading, and now it seems intentionally misleading because now the title kind of implies that this is like a prequel or something, or it just implies that this and Shin Kamen Rider are in the same continuity, and they're not. I have reviewed Shin Kamen Rider. I adored it. Check it out. But that's just not the case. It's just not the case. So if you want to watch Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, I guess go ahead. It's shit. It's bad. I don't know anyone who's ever watched it and liked anything other than like the transformation sequence. And even to that, I was like, that's not a Kamen Rider transformation sequence. That's a monster movie transformation sequence. And I guess this was a monster movie, kind of, because it has monsters in it, but it's bad. It's a bad film. I will not be watching it again now that I have watched it all the way through. I'll watch any Kamen Rider thing, even if I know it's going to be bad. But, yikes. Just yikes. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. I'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.